ordinary meeting of the Council of August. Recording of the minutes. In accordance with Local Government Meeting Procedures Regulation 2015, the public is advised that proceedings of the meeting of Council will be recorded on digital media to assist in the preparation of the minutes and to ensure that a true and accurate account of debate and discussions of the meeting is available. The West Coast Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land in which we gather today and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. Item 2.14 is a record of attendance, apologies and leave of absence. We have a leave of absence from Councillor Hamer. All others are in attendance. Item 2.15 is financial interest. This time part of the meeting, if any councillor has a financial interest in any item on the agenda, may declare that now or before discussions on that item. No financial interest at this stage. Confirmation of minutes. The recommendation at item 2.16. Recommendation is that minutes of the ordinary meeting of Council held at the Council Chambers on Tuesday the 22nd of July 2025, a copy of which, having been previously circulated to councillors prior to the meeting, be confirmed as a true and accurate record. Someone like to move that way, please. Move Councillor Ivanicki, seconded Councillor Butterfield. Put that to a vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 2.17 is public participation question time. We have no public in the gallery and have no questions. Let's go to General Manager. Okay, item 2.18 is Council's rate issue and information. We have no questions on notice, councillors. Questions without notice. I'll start with Councillor Butterfield.
So I have 4 questions without notice. The first question is the transfer station gates. So with the introduction of new electronic locks, an app for access to public facilities, gyms, etc., including access to public toilets after hours, could this system be considered for installation on the gates of the transfer stations? I believe when the transfer stations were originally closed on weekends, it was agreed that electric opening gates with swipe card access could be introduced in the future once cameras and Wi-Fi boosters were installed. Could this option now be investigated and costed, please?
Mr Mayor, pass this around in terms of the transfer gates and situation around that.
At the moment, we are exploring the options, which is going to be understanding of cost-benefit analysis of that, appetite from the community and demands, and then we will explore those avenues to have a technological upgradation. We have taken the initiative initially and it was being pulled out or withdrawn due to some, after noticing some observation that it is being poorly utilized and there was no rates associated to that, and that was the initial facility was been available, but later on it was seized because of wrong utilization of that facilities. We will work through that particular process to understand the entire waste management strategy, and as a part of that we will definitely look for that alternative arrangements and the use of technology on that space.
So my second question, and I know it's been asked a few times, but I think it's important that we get it done. Other line markings, the car spaces in Queenstown's All Street scheduled to be painted soon. With the tourism season fast approaching, clear line marking will help ensure that the maximum number of vehicles can be accommodated in the main street. This work has been expected for the past couple of years, but has not yet been completed.
Through Mr Mayor, I had a conversation with one of the managers in relation to the line marking. And he advised me that it's definitely to be included for this season. Most of that work in terms of the stuff in All Street where we're just marking the T's, most likely to do that in-house.
Thank you. My third question relates to the Queenstown Gym roof repairs. Could Council provide an update on the progress of the Queenstown Gym roof repairs? It's now approaching 12 months since the initial damage occurred, resulting in ongoing roof issues and a reduction in public use of the damaged section of the facility.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I'll pass this round.
Yes, at the moment we are in a situation to engage the contractor. From next week, they have confirmed to resume the works. There was a gap because of insurance involvement. We have engaged our building surveyor to assess the damages and to deal with the insurance claims. And at the moment, contractors also provide the feedback. They will resume the works, and hopefully by next week, if the weather will permit, they will resume the works, and definitely it will be done within a month or two time, hopefully.
Right, and my fourth question relates to the Spirit Awards, and I was just wondering if Council would consider installing an honour board to recognise the individuals and groups who have been awarded the West Coast Council Spirit Award, which is announced annually on Australia Day. Several members of the community have approached me with this suggestion, as they feel it would be a meaningful way to acknowledge and celebrate the ongoing contributions of those who exemplify the spirit of our region. An honour board could serve as a lasting tribute and inspire continued community involvement and pride.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for bringing it up, Deputy Mayor. It's something which has been brought up in the past when we had the Australia Day Awards. So I think we did ask the staff at the time to look at that and dig out all their old recipients. So thank you for bringing that to notice again, General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Happy to investigate that and close the loop and bring some solutions back to Council on what that might look like. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Councillor Mackay. Yes, Councillor Mackay.
Thank you, Mayor. And through you, before my questions, I'd just like to note the Unconformity had its launch last Thursday, and it's amazing to see the program and encourage everyone to check it out and try and go to something in October at the festival. I'd also like to congratulate the Crows. The seniors got a win, jumped straight into the grand final, so that's great news. And we just need to push those reserves through for a win this weekend, and they'll make the grand final as well. So that's really great for the community. My questions. First one, the town tip operating hours. There's been some outreach and commentary across social media platforms regarding the current operating hours of our West Coast tips. In particular, the closure of Sundays in several towns. As this matter has already come before Council and we are awaiting formal statistics and costings to be presented back to the table, can the General Manager and the Operations Department please provide an overview of the reasons behind the changes to operating hours? It would be helpful for the community to understand that this decision was not made lightly, and for residents to become acutely aware of the rationale behind the adjustments, including the considerations that led to the revised hours.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Certainly happy to take that on notice and provide a further update for Council. As previously advised by the Manager of Operations, we're currently working on a waste management strategy and certainly be inputting some rationale around that.
But is there any detail as to those questions that relate specifically as to why?
Through you, Mr Mayor, certainly there would be prior to my time, but certainly happy to bring that back in terms of the rationale as to why that decision was made.
Through you, General Manager, I will say that there was a lot of debate when these hours were changed around the table, and it was around the fact that at the time we were trying to reduce costs to the council and to the ratepayers. Having to have two employees open the tip on a Sunday for a 4-hour period, well, for all day, but they were paid for a 4-hour call out. It was quite expensive, and that's one of the rationales around that we were trying to save some cost to the ratepayers back then. But as the General Manager has stated, there has been some changes with regard to the strategy, which we certainly will be looking at. But that was the rationale why the hours were changed in the first place.
Through you, Mr Mayor, also the circumstances around the operational hours were also linked to the inappropriate disposal of materials, and also, particularly in relation to recycling, the contamination of those outcomes. Yeah.
Was there also not instances of illegal dumpings?
Through you, Mr Mayor, I think there was, but I'd have to go and validate that. Yeah.
Could I just add some food for thought on that one, please? Opening the tip on a Sundays would align with some other councils. For instance, Mandeville Council tip is open all weekend, every weekend, from Thursday to Sunday. Hence the Sunday. It's not open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
So that's just food for thought.
Yep. Thank you.
Councillor Mackay, your second question.
Second question, public toilet out of hours service. As I've travelled around the West Coast recently, I've noticed that a number of public toilet facilities now display stickers on their door referencing an out of hours service. Given that I've previously been an advocate for increased access to public toilet outside of the standard hours, can I please request an update on this initiative? Specifically, what's the scope of the rollout as these out of hours access services across our regions, e.g. which facilities? How does the service operate in practice? What are the benefits? What benefits will this provide to the community, including residents, visitors and those travelling through our towns? How does the rollout align with Council's broader objectives for accessibility, livability and tourism support? I believe this clarity will help the community understand both the practical outcomes and the value of the service being introduced.
Through Mayor. So the digitisation project the council's running at the moment, this is part of that. So it's around council being more accessible to the community. So we chose a toilet block in each of the main towns. So we've got Queenstown, Strahan, Zeehan, Rosebery and Tulla. We used the main toilet blocks that were being used, often with the bus drop-offs. So the locks have all been changed to electronic locks, so they can be, at the start of the day, they can be open remotely and then closed at the normal finishing time. But then outside those hours, people can go up to them with their phone and they can gain access to use the toilets. There's several benefits. Obviously, then people get access to toilets 24/7. We can cut down on graffiti and also vandalism, which often happens outside of hours, hence why they were being kept closed. And then we can also then start to look at which are being used more, so that in terms of our maintenance, etc., we start to know where we need to place our resources. They basically went live last Friday, and they're already being used outside of hours. As part of the project, we also included the showers, which are based at the Slipway in Strahan. Previously, they operated on a token system, but the tokens could only be purchased at the Visitor Information Centre during business hours. So visitors on a weekend, camping or whatever, couldn't access them because Visitor being closed. Again, that's already been utilised. So again, users have the option to a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute shower, depending on how quick they are, and they pay accordingly. So it's all done electronically through an app. So they scan the QR code, they download the app, they make their payment online, and it's all done. And these days, with people also not needing to carry cash, or very often don't have cash, it's obviously a lot more convenient. In terms of other places we'll roll out, it'll be a bit of a wait and see how this goes with toilets. I assume it will be successful. Moving on from that, we'll look at other toilet blocks in terms of how often they're used. And another one that we can potentially use this technology is at Lake Burbury and Macquarie Heads for casual campers. So instead of again needing to have cash to pay, there'll be a QR code there. They can actually access it, press what they want, and then they pay straight away. So from council's point of view as well, we don't have to worry about carrying a lot of cash on those sites, because I'm sure we probably miss out on a lot of fees because people come along, oh, we don't have any cash, well, we're going to stay anyway. So that's sort of another area. You mentioned benefits, so obviously we've got 24 access for accessibility. As you know, tourists don't just travel within business hours. They, especially during the summer periods, they're arriving late at night, so it allows them access to both toilets and showers, etc. Again, we'll reduce the graffiti and vandalism, and part of the thing with that is a similar technology has been installed at another council, and what they did was they allowed if someone's using the toilet, to report if there's been any graffiti. When people use the toilets, we keep a log of what their phone number is, so therefore we can track down who's used it and potentially cause that damage. Yeah.
Mayor, could I ask that we get some good media comms out to the community on that, please?
Yeah. The plan was to have a soft opening to make sure we got over all the hurdles, and then within 1 to 2 weeks we'll start to promote it as it starts to get used. But as I said already, the community's onto it and using it.
Which is good, and I guess, now that we're using the Western Echo, there's a prime, in there, and we'll certainly be promoting on Mirror here, which we have done. Okay, Councillor.
Just got 2 quick more ones, please. I just want to ask also, line markings on the tennis court adjacent to the new Strawn Rec facility, whether they will be remarked.
Put a work request, or putting a work request in to get them done, so
Beautiful.
I've already addressed that with the General Manager, and he approached me to put a work request in, which I'll do.
Thank you. Also, have all of the rates notices been dispatched?
Yes, they have.
Haven't you got yours, Councillor?
I certainly do have my few.
Okay, Councillor Newman.
Yes, mine's around the reception with the ABC. It's been brought up on more than one occasion, including probably at a workshop 2 or 3 meetings ago.
Yep.
The reception today, for example, was absolutely perfect from Granville to Queenstown. Yesterday from Granville to Rosebery, it was non-existent. And once again, we're coming back into the peak season, where one of the only things that we've got is the ABC emergency line. And we keep getting fobbed off about this. I would request that we get either ABC come and talk to us, or we get something done constructively. We don't want to see what happened last summer again.
Mr. Mayor, more than happy to follow that up.
Thank you.
I can relay that between Queenstown, ABC on Queenstown now is coming off satellite, so that's why that probably improved, but the Rosebery still comes off Mount Reed, sorry, so maybe an issue there. Strong facilities too. Yeah. Okay. I have one question without notice, councillors. I seek council support to write to the CEO of Oka Health on behalf of our community, expressing our disappointment regarding a recent development involving a young doctor employed by the organisation. This doctor relocated from establishing herself permanently on the West Coast, providing much needed continuity in medical care. Despite her commitment and majority of her training already completed, Oka Health has indicated they will not renew her contract, citing an inability to provide the remaining emergency training required. However, after speaking directly with the doctor, she has expressed a willingness to complete the final component of her training by shadowing another doctor in the emergency department at the local hospital. She believes this would satisfy the remaining requirements. I previously raised the broader issue of attracting and retaining full-time doctors with the Premier, the then opposition leader and his deputy leader during their visit to our region in the lead up to the last state election. At the time, due to caretaker government constraints, they were unable to act further. Nonetheless, the concern remains. Our community continues to rely heavily on locum doctors, which is far from ideal. I propose that this letter also be distributed to the Honourable Jeremy Rockcliffe, Premier of Tasmania, the Honourable Bridget Archer, MP, the Minister of Health, Senator Anne Urquhart, Federal Minister for Braddon, the Honourable Josh Willey, MP, Leader of the Opposition, and Ella Haddad, MP, Shadow Minister for Health. Can I request council endorsement to proceed with this correspondence, councillors?
Yes.
Yes.
If Ian's the member for Braddon, no longer Senator Urquhart.
No, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not Senator, it should be Anne Urquhart, yes. Councillors?
Wholeheartedly.
Absolutely, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. We'll get that drafted up and get that out to the CEO. And yes, it's disappointing that this has come to this.
Just through you,
Yes.
Mayor, there's a lot of despair in the community who had formed great relationships with this doctor. And to see them really being forced out by an organisation that doesn't want to work with her or with this community is just not on. So yeah, anything we can do to keep them here would be welcomed by the community, I think.
There is a petition, I think, around at the moment as well, councillors, in regard to that issue.
And it's not the first time, Mayor, that Acre Health have been the reason why we can't either attract or retain doctors. We've lost 2 in Strong because of poor project management, poor contract management.
Thank you, councillors. Okay, any other questions without notice, councillors? No other questions without notice? Motions on notice. Councillor McKay.
Thank you, Mayor. After getting such good guidance at the last meeting, I've brought the motion back to the table on the cemetery mapping, access and burial strategy. I'd like to move the motion that Council, number 1, investigates options to upgrade the current cemetery search system to an online real-time platform that enables immediate public access to burial records and plot locations across all West Coast cemeteries as part of its broader digitalisation strategy. And number 2, develop a burial and cemetery management strategy to assess current and future capacity, ensure equitable availability of burial plots across all West Coast communities, and preserve local heritage and family connections, with the strategy to be added to Council's priority project list and reviewed in 2 years.
Can I have a seconder for that motion, please, councillors, for discussion? Second is Councillor Jordan. Okay, open for discussions, councillor.
Yeah.
Would you like me to speak to that motion?
Oh, you can. I thought you did.
I've just made some notes. It's the community benefits, number 1. The motion's about making sure our community has got the practical tools and a long-term plan for how we manage cemeteries. The online real-time mapping system allows family to immediately access burial information without waiting for staff. This experience is more supportive for people already going through difficult times. Also reducing that administrative workload for councils. For families, it's deeply personal. Easily access to burial records ensures that stories, connections and ancestry are not lost. Our cemeteries are living records of our West Coast history, and by safeguarding access, we ensure that future generations can trace and honour those connections. Across Tasmania, cemeteries are increasingly being recognised as a cultural asset, places of storytelling, heritage interpretation and even tourism interest. Other councils have already demonstrated how digital platforms can attract visitors, researchers and history groups. This motion positions the West Coast to tap into that cultural tourism market in a respectful and well-managed way. I believe this work aligns directly with our council annual plan by delivering improved digital services to the community, reducing administrative red tape and ensuring equity of access. It also connects with the West Coast 2035 plan, which speaks to celebrating heritage, strengthening community resilience and improving livability. In addition, it is consistent with Council's existing policies on digital transformation, community wellbeing and cultural preservation. By adding this to Council's priority project list and committing to a formal review in 2 years, we're ensuring this is just not a one-off conversation, but a planned and measured process. It gives us accountability, ensures resources are allocated, and provides the community with confidence that Council is forward planning for both capacity and cultural preservation.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Jordan, would you like to speak for the motion?
Your first motion there, that's just investigates the options. I don't have any issue investigating options at all, so, and I agree wholly with the second motion, so.
Okay, any other councillors speak for or against the motion?
Certainly, I believe we've had a report, perhaps 5 years ago. There's been a body of work done in regards to part 2 of that motion around the availability of plots, the condition of our cemeteries, the condition of the headstones, and the lack of future available land. That body of work I know has been done, and it was presented to us in the report. So again, it's in our system somewhere. I would very much like to see that dug up and see how much that was considerable time and effort put into that, and it was a very good report from me. So some of this body of work has been done.
Certainly has, Councillor, and that's what I was going to talk to that as well. I think it's a great motion, and yes, that work definitely has been done. It's ready to go on a digital format. It just needs to be pulled out from somewhere. There's a lot of work done on all our cemeteries, including our pioneer cemeteries. So yes, all the plots were marked on maps, so we've got it somewhere. It just needs to be found again. I guess with changing in staff, that's fell by the wayside, but yeah, by all means, I think it's a great motion, and thank you very much for bringing that forward.
And I agree, but what I do recall, one of the major, the main recommendation of that report was that we need to investigate future land, because our cemeteries are getting to the point where they're filling up quite rapidly. So.
Okay, any other councillors want to speak for or against the motion?
I just had a similar note that we had an earlier report that had started a lot of that work, and we should follow up on that report.
Okay.
And it was the current capacity and life of the current cemeteries that we have.
Thank you, councillors. If there's no other discussions on the matter, I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you, councillors. There's no motions without notice. Item 219 is Mayor and Councillor diaries and communication. Council resolved that the Mayor's and Councillor diaries and communication as presented be noted. I've got one change to mine which I eliminated. I missed off the Queenstown Fire Brigade dinner on the 26th of the 7th, 25. If I can add that added to my diary, thank you. Any other councillors, any other discussions on any of the matters?
If I could just add for mine, for the 1st of the 7th, the meeting with Anita Dow, Cheryl Fuller, Amanda Diprose was also there, and also had dinner afterwards. Just to fill that in a little bit more, thanks.
Yep, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Okay, no other discussions on the matter? We'll keep moving on. And there was no gifts and donations for that month. Item 220 is council workshops. For noting, council resolved to note the following workshops were conducted by council since the last ordinary meeting. 12th of August, we had the Western Wilds Sky Run presentation, Community Gardens update, PCYC TAS CEO Scott Wade presented to us the sale of properties and unpaid rates for presentation. Reporting changes. And on the 26th of August, we had the CAT management policy, mowing policy, including verge mowing, OH&S issues, the cost of nature strip maintenance in each town, Strawn waterfront presentation, general history of the Strawn Rec Hall and current condition report, planning fees. Okay, and we had approved leave from that with councillor Hamer. Okay. We'll keep moving. No discussions on the workshop, councillors? No? Item 221 is council decision and status report, action item list. Council resolved that the status report, action item of open council meeting decisions be received. Any discussions on that list of, yes, councillor?
A lot of the issues that are in this action item list, we continue to bring up as extra questions. For instance, the costing of why the transfer waste stations closed on Sunday was asked for the 21st of January this year. And it's in there as I'm going. Excuse me. I would ask that perhaps we spend a little bit more time closing these out and getting them off, and that would provide us with the information that we continue to ask for. And there's a couple of these things that are completed well and truly, and some that are still we need to keep on there, but I think there's a lot on this list that we've done. But there's certainly some that we do continually ask questions about, and it could be very easily resolved by addressing it and getting it off the list.
Certainly noted.
Thank you, councillor, but I guess the other thing is that, that was 28th of the 1st this year, so it's not that long ago. Maybe councillors, we need to also give the team a little bit extra time to review some of these things before we ask the questions again.
Through you, Mayor, I'd like to just drill down further from councillor Graham. On page 18, we have the Esplanade turn area remediation. Which Esplanade? No, it doesn't have the detail there to where it pertains to.
I know which one it pertains to because it's mentioned further up there that we're waiting on an engineer to come and tell us about the traffic management plan for that works. So it's an actually item there twice.
But we're waiting on better weather for asphalting.
Yeah, that was it was the traffic management plan around doing that, and that's mentioned further up.
That may be a different Esplanade. I think that might be the Esplanade in Queenstown regarding a section where they done the turn off into one of the streets, Sorrell Street. There was a section that wasn't asphalted. I think it's Sorrell Street. Yes, I think that's probably a different.
So the turning area is the one in Strawn where they turn around at Esk Street.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm pretty sure it was.
It was.
There's a mention of a traffic management plan to get that done. Further up there or further down the list.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sorry, I apologise.
Yeah, and that's the confusion, and that's the point I'm trying to make here, Mayor.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the circumstances are there is a crossover between a number of them. Yeah. Taking that on that.
Any other discussions on the?
Yeah, I'd just like to add in, I noticed the smoking in the business districts had been taken off that list, and also the old cenotaph that's located in the Phillip Street compound. What's on that list?
No, the smoking's still there.
Still there?
It is,
Okay,
and it's actually an action item I haven't pursued yet. Because I got advice from the Minister as to how to do that, and I was going to pursue that.
Oh, my apologies.
Minister Prochurisma at the time had written to us offering some direction there.
Right, my apologies for that.
Okay, any other discussions, councillors? Okay, we'll keep moving then. Item 222 is the General Manager report. That the General Manager report as presented be noted. Someone like to move that way, please? Move Councillor Graham, second to Councillor Newman. Any discussions on that, councillors?
I have one, Mr. This is the older councillors are going to know my argument here. I'm going through the list of community leases on 24, page 24, and I note that Uniting Church doesn't seem to have a lease over our senior citizens club rooms anymore after all of the frustrations to get it. Is that a typo, or am I correct in assuming that's lapsed or something's happened?
Through you, Mayor. But no, we're currently under negotiations again. They wanted to change some of the conditions, so we're having a look at that. I actually have it to look at tomorrow on my list. So I sent them a draft document and then they sent some changes back. They sent it to their legal people. So we're waiting to just nut that out. But it's basically, they're happy to continue. That's fine.
Following on from those leases, there through you, Mayor, there's 3 that are expired in the community leases. Are they going to be renewed?
Through you, Mr Mayor, yes, we'd certainly be chasing those up.
I guess just the one on the Catholic Church one, St Joseph's School, that's the car park opposite the school. I thought that they'd released that lease a while ago when that area was but maybe not.
Just one other to that at least. I've again been approached by the person who runs the Strawn Yacht Club room.
Yep.
And he is very keen to try and formalise something with the council, so.
Through you, Mr Mayor, that dynamic, I'm working on the background of that, yeah.
I had some questions
Yes.
about the general manager's report, if everyone's done. First of all, in the GM report, I couldn't find the gym usage report. Usually you have the gym usage by town. I couldn't find that. I did do a search with gym and there were a few other things that came up, but not the actual usage report. So
It's in Queenstown facility bookings, Queenstown Gym, usage for July.
no, that's a commercial booking.
Oh, right.
But like how many people have used the
Oh,
gyms?
yeah.
So I just wanted to check that it wasn't me that had overlooked something, because I always like to have a look at the gym usage report.
Through you, Mayor. So the gym report hasn't been on there for several months since we went to the new process. So what happened is we've got to actually develop a new way of doing that report, because at the moment they've got 2 ways of booking, so we need to actually get the data together in terms of the usage. So that's why it hasn't been on there.
Great. And then page 38 about Headley Fall Park. I notice it's well on its way, but there's still no info there on a completion.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I've had a number of discussions with the operations team in relation to firming that up. There's a number of key things that are dragging, and I do appreciate community's patience in relation to that. But we are working avidly at this point in time. I know there was conversations with contractors this week to firm up the dates.
Great. Because I think we've got maybe 5 weeks until the next school holidays, and we don't want to go another school holidays without a park. And my last question on the general manager's report was page 40. I was really pleased to see the information about the Queenstown pool upgrades, especially the accessibility hoist and the relining. I think it's definitely well overdue, and perhaps you can't give me exact detail right now, but when are we thinking in terms of getting that project underway?
Through you, Mr Mayor.
True, Mr. Mayor. There is a 2 phase of projects. One is to deal with the hoist and insulation. Another is a relining. So we have a plan to conduct those independent jobs which will not disturb the season before that. And after season get over, we will engage the relining contractor to conduct. So procurement of all the installation of hoist and electrical upgrades works ongoing. And we are pretty sure before we get into the active season, we will complete those part of the phase, that part of the job. And the next phase will initiate after we will get the window when there will be no active season.
Thank you.
Just while you brought that up, General Manager, so this is new to myself. these grants. So is there going to be any cost to council with these, or are these fully funded grants?
So, through you, Mr Mayor, some of these are part funded and some of it's part grant funded. That was part of I can't remember the name exactly off the top of my head, but it was a grant program that was provided, and we've secured some funding to do that. So it's basically 50-50 funding across all those projects.
Okay. Surprising that it didn't come to the table for councillors to, especially the councils are going to be funding some of these projects as well.
Yeah.
Unless it's coming out of operation funding.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I understand that funding was secured a number of years ago. It's not something that's occurred recently. But I can go and check that.
Well, the pump track's only been there for 12 months, or not even 12 months.
Yep.
But anyway, keep moving. I'd just like to commend the staff and especially the operations staff on the work that's been done around our community. If you look at the work that they've done at Rosebery and Zine with the open drains, especially the open drains in Zine, doing that in-house is certainly a breath of fresh air to be doing that in-house. So well done to Sarav and your team, mate. Good job. And I guess the other thing is the work on the completed in Queenstown, that area, that work request, and also the pressure cleaning of the Rosebery footpaths, etc. So they certainly look, done a tremendous job there. So good, you pass on our thanks to the staff with regards to that. So some great work going on there in that space. So thank you. Any other discussions on the general manager? Yes.
Through you, Mayor. Just a quick one, with growth and change, page 58, the very last one on there is the Diverge Sky Run. As we had the presentation last week, it's really exciting to see this type of event coming to the West Coast. And you know, they're estimating that there's going to be over 1,000 people visiting Queenstown and surround, so it's really exciting. And looking at those dates from the 1st of May to the 3rd of May 2026, so looking forward to more details coming to light on that event.
Yes, just to highlight that, they will be in Queenstown on the 12th of September for a community meeting. So just for all the public out there that are watching tonight, please get along to that. I've already had some questions which around a few of the things that they've had in their media and their pamphlets around town, that some of the community are a little bit worried. But as I've spoken to the lady, not to worry about it. It's not expecting people to be parking near some of these tracks. They're just tracks to access the Sky Run. So the parking will be in the main CBD area or up on the area. So, but yes, please turn up to the public session on the 12th of September. So.
And let's hope we can make it as good an event as the Point to Pinnacle.
No doubt it will be, Councillor. Thank you very much. Councillor Jordan, do you have?
Oh, yeah, sorry, just a quick one on page 44 with the 4.5 metre cubic skip bins at Macquarie Heads. I think we've touched on this before. We've got 15 for the month and 159 year to date. It's just, I don't believe that to be correct.
Okay.
Interesting point.
So 15 4.5 metre bins for the month, and there's no one there this time of year, so.
Thank you, Councillor.
Speaking of waste again, I thank you for providing tonnage, because I've been asking for it for a while. Thank you, I appreciate that. But the graph on page 42, biannual curbside hard rubbish collection, tonnage collected, I cannot make any sense of that graph.
Yep.
I wonder if you could explain to me what that means. November 36, July 09, February 82, doesn't reflect any of the figures above there. I'm confused, I don't know what that graph means.
Okay. Through you, Mr Mayor, the curbside garbage collection total bins, my understanding is that the monthly total, and then you have the second column, which is the same period last year, then there's a year-to-date, a rolling total.
We're talking tonnage.
It's up
bins.
in
I'm in the
one,
tonnage
next one.
page.
Oh, sorry,
I'm- From the top of the page, you've got a matrix, which I understand, makes sense to me. The graph underneath it
Yeah,
doesn't seem to represent anything. I don't understand it. That graph is very confusing to me.
looking at the tonnages in there, I think there might be some challenges with the scale.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think that's probably.
The matrix above puts it very quite clearly.
Yeah.
We're running around about that average of probably 21 tonnes,
Yeah.
okay, which is
Yeah.
that's not too bad. That will help us protect the waste space, in the landfill, if we can stay at that. But the graph underneath it, I cannot make head or tail. I'm sorry.
I'll go and have a look at that, yeah.
And, that airspace in our landfill is vitally important.
Very much so.
Okay, any other questions, councillors? If not, we'll put that to vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Okay. We need to make it a bit shorter. Item 223 is correspondence. Council resolved that the correspondence, both incoming and outgoing, as presented, be noted. We have a response, correspondent presented to council for determination on a response. It's around the recycling rewards from NRE. The letter from the Secretary, Mr Jason Jacoby, on our letter that we sent in regarding the recycle rewards and the placement of the machines, the Tomra machines. Councillors, open for discussion on, do we need to respond to that letter that he sent, or are we happy with the response?
I don't know, the GM's got a red R there, so I
Yep.
guess he's looking for some assistance for the response to that.
Yep.
I think it's wonderful that the minister's got back to us. It was a motion that I moved and asked you to write that, but I still don't believe they're appropriate places, but clearly they have indicated that they've had full engagement with the council. Certainly, I don't know if anyone around the table here was engaged. I certainly wasn't. I wasn't aware that they were doing it until I saw bins pop up in Brighton. So I don't believe our staff are being very honest with us in that respect. Now, no disrespect to the staff we have here now, but at the time, this is the sort of thing that gets the community quite involved and engaged in not so positive ways. And you know, to not be consulted on this at all, it upsets me. It upsets me a lot. And I still hold that I don't believe the grounds of a pub is an appropriate place to engage children in the recycling program. I still hold that. I maintain that. And I hope going forward that we can find alternative arrangements, not for the ones that they've got. I appreciate they've invested heavily in that, and we're going to have to swallow that. Our kids have got to go to the grounds of a pub to cash in their recycled cans. Not very encouraging, in my opinion. But going forward, when we do, as the funds come in from the waste levy, they will expand that program, and let's hope that we have a little bit broader consultation on where these facilities go. To write back, I think you have to thank the Secretary for his response, and appreciate it. I still hold, and I don't know what the rest of the table feels, but I don't believe a pub is an appropriate place for us to be taking our recyclables to engage in this container deposit legislation. I really don't.
Thank you, Councillor. And given the fact that if they get the little piece of paper, they can go to the bottle shop to to gain the refund is, it's not a good place, is it?
What I don't know is whether they have to go to that facility to cash that voucher, or where else they can go, I don't know.
I support Councillor Graham in his assertion that going forward, not only should we be consulted, but we consider those inappropriate facilities for them to be located. So all hospitality facilities, all
Licensed.
thank you, licensed venues as inappropriate facilities. And I just wanted to point out that on page 65 of our agenda, which is page 2 of the letter that we got about this, I actually think it's not true. The network operator did undertake a council briefing workshop on the 25th of March, I can see that. However, there was not engagement undertaken at that time. It was, this is where they're going to be.
Yes.
So that's inaccurate. I don't think there's really a need to put that in the response, but I just want to point out that that is actually not accurate.
I agree with Councillor Graham and Councillor Ivanicki. I believe if we probably had been a little bit better informed, we probably would have made the decision to put them where they are.
I think what they're talking, there was a briefing for us, but it was after the event.
Yeah.
The thing is that they had engaged with council officers, and that was where the letdown was, that we weren't informed beforehand. And the fact is that, you know, it probably should have been something which we could have been part of, and then we could have voiced our concerns then at that stage. The fact that they're saying you know, there was no community group that was interested. Well, they never even came and seen some of the community groups either. Now, whether they were expecting staff to liaise with community groups, I'm not sure, but yeah,
I don't believe that either, Mayor.
No.
I believe that there are community groups that would have welcomed that opportunity here on the West Coast.
Yep.
And that's not taking anything away from the scheme in itself, because
No,
it is a
absolutely.
roaring success.
Absolutely, Councillor Jordan, I agree. I'm not endeavouring to do that in any way.
And just also on that page 65, it does say that if you want to get cash for the voucher, that you have to print the voucher and remove it for cash with the assistance of a parent or guardian. So parent or guardian, you have to go to the bottle shop to get it.
Not
So
appropriate. It's just simply not appropriate.
maybe one thing that you know, the government was really serious about this, whether they print that piece of paper, then take it to Service Tas, and that children can get their money through Service Tas.
But I do believe that they're in breach of their own liquor licensing act, and I pointed that out to them, that after hours, it talks about the premise, not the licensed area, it talks about the premise. And the minister can make dispensations for those people to be on the premise. I'd like to see the minister's dispensation for all of the premises where these facilities are, because they're being used after hours, and there's absolutely no way that the proprietors can control and manage who is on the premises after hours. And the legislation is very clear on that. So I believe they're in breach of their own liquor licensing legislation.
Okay, so council, we're happy to respond to Jason Jacoby's letter, just thanking him and maybe just highlighting that we'd hopefully that these further installations aren't installed around licensed premises.
And I will add publicly that the advocate contacted me this morning about this topic, and I shared my views that I have shared through the motion previously and tonight equally. So the advocate shares our opinion. They don't think it's appropriate either. So they may take this a little bit further publicly as well.
Thank you, councillor. There's no other, unless there's any other councillors believe that we need to respond to anything else, there's no other responses required. I will highlight the what's it called? Productivity forum that was held, that was organised by Ian Urquhart, federal member for Braddon. That was a great turnout by a lot of business people from the North West Coast, and some really great, I guess, solutions put forward, and they were taken to the round table the following week in Canberra, so hopefully they've got a bit of intake or uptake from that forum.
Can I ask, Mayor, whether, was there any West Coast business people there?
Only,
Back Ridge,
Whaleback Ridge. Yes.
Because I don't remember talking to anyone that actually got an invite from a business perspective to go to that.
That was the the major suppliers or major supporters in industry. Yeah. It's the, I can't remember some of the people there, Penguin Composites, the ones that would have an interest in the renewable energy area, I guess. Okay, item 224 is for noting, to report on the Cradle Coast Waste Management Group 25-26 annual plan and budget. Recommendations that council receives this report and notes the ongoing work of the Cradle Coast Waste Management Group. Any discussions on that, councillors?
Through you, Mayor.
Yes, councillor.
In the report, there's an offer of a tour of the Sprayton facility, specifically to inspect the FOGO systems. Could we arrange a site visit for councillors and then engage in the mantra avoid, reduce, reuse and recycle?
Through you, Mr Mayor, happy to facilitate a conversation around choosing a date. Is there any preference for a date? Given that we've got different interests around the table, and I will just need to check when operations are available for us to go.
You're talking about our facility or Cradle Coast facility?
The Sprayton facility.
Sprayton facility, the FOGO facility.
Yeah,
I think it would help a lot of us understand how FOGO is dealt with.
yeah, I don't.
It's something that we're trying to push for,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's well understood.
Yep, certainly happy to support that.
Okay. Okay, item 225 is a rate remission request from the Zine Men's Shed. Recommendation is that council approves a general rate remission to the Zine Men's Shed located at 10 Ruskin Street, Zine, for a period of 3 years. Open for discussion. Let's move to Councillor Graham, second to Councillor Newman. Open for discussions, councillors.
Having worked with the Zine Men's Shed for many years, I don't think you find a better group of people, so I'm really happy to support them. They do a lot behind the scenes in the community too, helping people out with various small projects for pensioners that perhaps can't afford things. Plus I've also purchased an awful lot of woodwork from them, so perhaps that's a conflict of interest, I'm not sure.
Through you, Mayor, absolutely outstanding group, the Zine Men's Shed, and set up to do exactly what it is supposed to do and provides a great support to many men in the community further than Zine. The one thing that I would like to ask, if this application form could be reworked to link back better to the policy requirements, to meet the policy requirements, to give me that information 100% instead of making assumptions.
Through Mr Mayor, it appears they've used the old application. Looks like that.
Yeah, it's the old application. I'm going to say it's different than the one we approved recently with the rates.
Through you, Mayor, I'd also like to support that, A, for the work they do in the community and the space that they provide. And if you look at the men's shed, the bit on the internet, And it also says that the aim of the membership is to improve the health and wellbeing of their members, which is also supports a lot of our strategies and our policies.
Bill, do you want to say anything to your report? I should have said that first before I asked you.
Through Mr. Mayor, I mean, because we changed the way that the policy operates, we're trying to make it easier for community groups so they can apply for a 3-year remission. And what we do is each year we just check base with them to make sure that no conditions have changed with the way they operate. So that it makes it also easy for us to budget because we know we're going to be giving that remission, whereas previously it was ad hoc, so we would budget to receive the money and then we would lose the money because we'd give it out as remission, whereas we can actually budget much better.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, if no other discussion, we'll put that to a vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Okay, item 226 is the lease of Crown land off the Esplanade and Strawn. The recommendation is the council authorise the general manager to sign the attached lease for Crown land located off Esplanade Strawn, identified as property identification number 9842608. General manager, before we put the recommendation forward, any discussion?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, this is the portion of land that we're interested in leasing that will help us move forward with part of that fuel relocation on the Strawn waterfront.
Thank you, General Manager. Okay, the recommendation is the council authorise the General Manager to sign the attached lease for Crown land located off Esplanade Strawn as with the identified as property identification number 9842608. Someone like to move that way? Move Councillor Graham, second Councillor Barfield. Okay, open for discussion. Oh, we don't need any discussions?
Well, I'd like to say,
Yeah.
I do think it's an integral parcel of land, really, to any further development of that end of the Esplanade. If we walk all the way back to 2015 when they drafted the community and the various departments of government that drafted the waterfront precinct plan, those parcels of land were inherently part of that. And that's, without it, there really is poor access to that last parcel. It's surprising that they're separate leases, to be honest. I was dumbfounded to see that they were. But it is the last piece of the puzzle in ensuring that we have easier pathways to the development of that end of the Strawn precinct, the Strawn waterfront precinct. So we now have access to all of the parcels of land along the waterfront, basically, that we need to pursue further development. So I think it's an integral piece of land.
Through you, Mayor, I just have two questions. I support the motion. I just have two things I'd just like to understand a little bit better. If in the future, at some stage, that this project was handed back to Tasports, would that lease affect that? And also it says it's a 10-year lease, so how would that affect the project if in the end of 10 years, for some reason, that lease wasn't renewed? Can we put something in there to protect against that, I guess is what I'm asking.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the circumstances around this is the first step. And as Councillor Graham's pointed out, we're actually collecting all the pieces and then we'll probably actually modify the leases that we have to actually consolidate them so that they potentially will be longer term.
Or seek the freehold.
Or seek the freehold,
Yeah, that's right. Most of the government Crown leases are for 10 years, plus a further 10 years, plus 10 years. That's how they work with their leasing. But I guess the other thing that probably we should highlight is the parcel of land that the old factory sits on, which I believe probably Huon Aquaculture may own that lease. They did at one stage discuss with council about gifting that area to council for further development, whether we should pursue that down the track.
It's listed as being in council control. And we've got a map at the back of this report, on the back of the lease. It's blue as a council lease.
Well, it is too,
Yeah, that's what I mean, the
So we've already got it.
1,600 square metre parcel of land was the only one.
It's already
left.
been changed.
That's
then.
right, yeah.
So it's
So,
been
yeah,
changed.
so that's all of, now we actually have those pathways that we need to pursue some of this,
I
you
can't
know.
recall that coming to us to,
I do
we did
remember
talk about,
we had a debate
getting
about
it
this
done.
probably a year and a half ago, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Apologies.
Through Mr Mayor, this is the piece of the puzzle that allows that heavy vehicle access
Yeah.
to the fuel relocation
Absolutely.
and gives us alternative pathways to actually get in and out.
Oh, we couldn't go in without it, we wouldn't get a DA today, would we?
Okay, I'll put that to a vote. If there's no other discussion, all those in favour? Against, carried. Okay, item 227, the report of sale of properties to recover unpaid rates. I'll hand over to, before we put the motion forward, hand over to the Bill to explain his report.
Okay, through Mr Mayor. So under the Local Government Act, under section 137, council can elect to sell properties that have rates in outstanding of 3 years. Normally what the process would be is that we're doing it every 3 years, but it would mean that we'd be selling quite a few properties. So to make the process smoother, we're going to do it in a series of properties. So in this particular case, we started off with 10 properties. We followed the process that's outlined under the Act, where we write to the property owners advising them. All of these properties are vacant land. So some of them we had trouble locating the owners. So they have 90 days in which to bring the rates up to date. These particular properties are not up to date, so we'll be then entering into property auctions to sell these properties. At this stage, we'll look at the auction happening mid to late September, and they'll be advertised accordingly, which is what we have to do. Once the properties are sold, council can recover all costs involved, including any charges against the property, so whether it's an abatement, etc. And then the money then that's left over is held in trust for a period of 3 years, and we advertise on an annual basis that the money is there if the person can come forward and collect that money. So it's now, we're up to the pointy end of the process now where we'll actually get to sell properties.
Thank you. So the recommendation is that council supports the sale of 7 Hollywood Street, Rosebery, 13 Featherstone Street, Strawn, 20 Hurst Street, Zeehan, Lot 3, Buller Street, Zeehan, Lot 12, Council Street, Zeehan, 10 Belstead Street, Zeehan, 138 Main Street, Zeehan, and 4 Comet Court, Zeehan, in accordance with section 137 of the Local Government Act 1993. Someone like to move that way, please? Move Councillor Ivanicky, seconded Councillor Jordan. No other discussions on the matter, councillors? We'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Okay, item 229 is matters proposed for closed meeting. Recommendation that items 232.25 to 237.25 discussed by council in closed session. Someone like to move that way, please? Move Councillor Newman, second Councillor Butterfield.
Mayor, there is a 238 in the agenda.
There is two. You're quite right.
239
So it'll be
for that matter.
232 to 238.
239 by the look of it. Being the opening of the meeting, but it is still an agenda item.
Yes. 239, 238 that should be. Someone say, who moved it? Councillor.
I seconded.
Yep. Councillor Ivanick, I think you moved it, did you?
Councillor Jordan seconded, you moved it, Councillor Aiken.
Did I?
Yeah.
To go into closed session?
Yeah.
Oh,
Who moved the
No, no.
motion, sorry?
that's right, this hasn't been put, we moved to go into close, but we haven't got the item.
No.
232 to 239, and then just.
Yep.
So someone like to move that way, please? Move Councillor Graham, second Councillor Butterfield. Okay, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Recommendation. Double up there. So okay.
Why stop now?
Sorry? Closed meeting. We need to shut down